Hello everybody, my name is Infiniti and I am the face and the voice behind all the content under Infiniti Crafting Co. And today we are just going to be taking a look at my crochet hook collection. So sometime last week I talked about my favorite types of knitting needles. And so today I wanted to kind of do a follow-up because I think most of my audience crochets. So a little bit of background, I have been crocheting for 7 years. And I've been crocheting longer than I have been knitting. So I have a larger collection of crochet hooks than, well, I don't want to say most people, but then a lot of people. So this is my little happy bowl of crochet hooks. When I was on a pottery kick, I was trying my hardest to make a yarn bowl type thing. Well, not even a yarn bowl. I think I was trying to make a vase or something for my hooks, but it ended up being more like a bowl, and then it has this charismatic little crack down the front of it. Oh, it's right there. And so it could be used as either a yarn bowl or a crochet hook thing. But since I rarely find myself in a situation where I need a yarn bowl, it became the holder for my various crochet hooks. So there are several types of crochet hooks. There are the tapered ones, there are the inline ones, there are wooden, plastic, resin, aluminum. I'm not sure if there are nylon ones, but there are at least those. You got your latch hooks, you got your double-ended hooks, you got a whole variety of crochet hooks. Ergonomic, can never pronounce that word, don't judge me. But anyway, so I have a few favorites. So first of all, for the most part, these wooden ones, I always rag on these because I just don't like them. They can get kind of snaggy if you don't file them down first. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I don't. When I buy a crochet hook, I shouldn't have to put in extra work just to get it to work with my projects. That's just me. But I have these nonetheless. But I would find myself using these way more often than I would a plastic one. I hate plastic crochet hooks with a passion. They have no glide, no slip to them at all, in my opinion. And I can't get my crochet speed up with them. I just can't. They stick, in my opinion. Now wooden ones, they can snag. Wooden hooks are typically meant to have a little bit of extra grip on them, but you have way more slide or glide or slip on them than you do plastic hooks to me. The only time I think I've ever really worked with plastic hooks such as these are when I had bulkier yarn like Bernat Softy Chunky. I remember doing a few projects with those, and I would use this one specifically. For a while there I was sitting up collecting crochet hooks, so I do have a giant one which I have featured in a couple of thumbnails this month. I just bought it to buy it, but also at the time I was buying this thick roving yarn, and like I said in the previous video, can't find it for the world this year so far. Hopefully later in the year / beginning of 2021 I'll come up on it. Alright, so that being said, the majority of my hooks are metal, and I mean, you know, over the years I've just collected them. Now my favorite size hook is just 5mm. It's pretty standard, or what I consider the standard for beginning crochet. I have smaller hands and my fingers are long, so they just fit very well in my hands. So, you know, and I'm able to crochet faster with the smaller, I guess, the smaller hook, I want to say, as opposed to working with like a 7mm. It takes me longer. So my favorite size is a 5mm. Now there is one specific type of 5mm that I just love, and it is the boy hook. Now this is my size 8, 5mm, and I have two of these. Now these boy hooks, they are tapered. They're not inline. Typically, once I realized that there was a difference between certain hooks, and I like noticed the inline hooks, I'm like, okay, I don't like inline hooks. But I didn't realize that I would stand corrected in the future. But This one is one of my favorites. My other one is on my desk. I have my crochet hooks all over the house, which I'm sure is common for people as they sit at different spots in the house or whatever and they crochet or craft. So that's that. I do have a set of these ergonomic hooks with the handles on them, and it's just basically made so that it's more comfortable for you to work with. So I like these, but if I'm working a stitch where I need to have multiple stitches on my hook at a time, multiple loops on my hook at one time, then these probably aren't my go-to. I'm more likely to use one of these. So that's one thing. Now inline, there's nothing really wrong with inline. I just feel like my work flows better on a tapered hook, but everybody's different. I do have an assortment of inline hooks, and the inline hooks are flat. There's a line there, as opposed to the tapered ones that they decrease, but it's smoother and it's more like a cylinder going down. So like I said in the beginning, I did not like inline hooks at all whatsoever. I didn't like working with them, but I got them because this lady, she gave me this whole project bag. It was full of knitting needles and crochet hooks, some vintage ones, and so I have a hodgepodge of old boy needles and Susan Bates, and so, you know, inline, tapered. Okay, so for years and years and years, probably as long as they've been in existence, I discovered that I really liked Furl's crochet hooks. And no, I'm not sponsored, but I really liked Furl's crochet hooks, and I've been watching them since they only had the Odyssey hooks in black. So it was a while that I had been following them. And over the years, I saw them develop their hooks and, you know, come out with different designs and whatnot. So you know what? In 2018, I decided to go ahead, spring for one. And I sprung for the cookies and cream, and I also sprung for the 6.5 millimeter, the wooden one in ebony. Now these are inline hooks, but when I tell you, these are so comfortable for me to hold and crochet with, even with bigger projects like chenille yarn that I typically don't work with like metal needles. I work with that very well with the bigger Furl's hook, and I guess it might be the design of the handle, I don't know, but it's just very easy to get into a flow with these. They are very finished. I've never had these to snag my yarn. I've never had them to like stick, you know, when you can't get your loops to glide over it. I've never had that issue with these. I also don't like resin or plastic hooks, mind you, but these I do like. Now the smaller ones, the ones with the smaller necks, can be a little fragile, so I would recommend, if you do go and get one, just to not drop them. Though their customer service is really, really friendly and really, really helpful, so if you do accidentally break one, they will help you get it replaced. So that was one plus to that situation, because this one, I was so sad when I broke the first one. It fell, it hit my floor. My floors are concrete down here, and the head just snapped off of it. I was like, no. So that was a little horror story, but so yeah, these are like my favorite hooks that I actually use. They're not my special knitting needles. These are my special hooks aesthetically, but I will actually use these for a lot of projects. I don't use them for tutorials very often, just because this light one is really hard to see, especially with all my lighting and whatnot. So when I'm doing stitch tutorials, I don't want it to really interfere with that. But should I get one in a darker color, most definitely would use them way more often in tutorials. But for regular projects, I use them quite often. And then your stitches, the stitches, like, I've never really taken note if the stitches look better. I've heard some people say that, but I don't know, they're just really comfortable to work. To me, that's very important, because again, my hands are my most important tool and asset to everything that I do. So I want to make sure that they're well taken care of, and I think that was one of the original selling points of these hooks, that they're healthier for your hands. And I can definitely tell the difference between when I'm crocheting with this one, or one of my Furls, because after a while with these, I think I hold my needles like, or my hooks like a knife, so when I'm crocheting I can feel that tension in here and in here, probably down to my elbow, as I do a lot of excessive crocheting and crafting and all that. And I don't have that so much with the furls hooks, just I guess again because of how the handle conforms to your hand, but that's just my thing. It's one of my preferences. So yeah, my favorite hooks are 5mm. They are tapered and apparently preferably ergonomic. And I guess, you know, with this one, something that helps with it is that the neck is so long on it that, you know, you don't necessarily, it doesn't necessarily interfere with the handle down here, like per se, like this one. So if I wanted to do super fluffy stitches that require a lot of loops, I could easily do it on this one, and my fingers and hands and the handle is actually way far away from all my workings, as opposed to this one I have a limited amount of workspace. So that's my comparison for today. Let me know in the comments below, what are your favorite types of hooks? What's your favorite size of hook? I'd be interested to know. This is all I have for today. I hope today's video was informal or interesting. If so, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on Instagram, don't forget to leave me a heart. Go back and give me a follow, because I will be posting more videos throughout the month of August. We're almost to the end of August. So if you have questions regarding crafting or crafterpreneurship or YouTube or something, I'd be more than glad to try to answer those questions. I am on a number of different social media pages. I'm on pretty much everything except for Snapchat, so I have a little something out there for everybody. So if you want to kind of follow me on those, I have a link down in my description on YouTube, iWhitleycard.co. That is the little virtual business card for me, and it lists all my social media and blogs and stuff like that. And then the same link is listed on Instagram if you're watching this on IGTV. And until tomorrow, happy making.